Good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. We are here with another value, and this time it's going to be the value of ownership. Now, until you take ownership for your life, you will always be chasing happiness. And that was a quote by Sean Stevenson. And, really thinking into that, until you take ownership for your life, you will always be chasing happiness. How many of us are actually chasing happiness because we just haven't done that? So that's why, again, like every other value, this value is also very important. See, how many times have we heard the statement, I want to have my own business so I can be my own boss? Now, that sounds good, of course, but when people start their own businesses, they soon realize that they are not the boss. They had everything to all people, but I mean, the boss is now, they discover that their bosses are now the government, their lenders, their employees, and of course, the customers. It's different bosses, but bosses all the same. Maybe not in name, but your employees also determine a significant measure of your success or failures. They represent your company and must be trained and paid attention to. See, if they're not treated right, they will leave. Now, there's a few important things in that as well, because they are a very important part of an organization. I think in an organization, employees are the most important part. People are the most important part of any organization. And they must be trained and paid attention to. See, if you want to get the best out of people, you need to connect with them. Now, if you've got a lot of employees, you can't connect with them all personally, but make sure that people you are in charge of connect with their people and filter that through, because we need a human connection. We need to let people know that they care, that they're not just a number on a payroll, because that really helps. And that's why these values, bringing these values into an organization has already been proven in the book Return on Character by Fred Keel. They said that where the management, the top management and the CEO use values, work with character, the company is up to 5 times more profitable than those that don't. So that should tell you a good reason to bring this into your organization, because people will take ownership of what they do and where they're at when they actually feel valued. People of value people. So when you bring this kind of stuff into an organization, people start to connect at a human level, because these are all human values. They start to connect with a human value. I can guarantee you, if you're here from an organization, that when you bring this values-based leadership, we have renamed it, Arthur and myself have renamed it as specialist, into sustainable personal development. This will do more for your organization than most other trainings or anything else that they can think of. And because this will be the foundation of leadership, this will be the foundation of life. And when this gets actively engaged within your organization with people from all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of height, then this will really ensure that it'll change the culture of your entire organization for so many reasons I can't even go into just now. But look at the testimonials of all of this, and you'll get a better idea. But also, there's people who say, yeah, but training costs a lot of money. I used to work for an organization in pipeline inspection, especially, and I was a specialist in that. That it cost 100,000 euros to train people, give them a certain amount of qualifications and some years of experience. Now, when you think about that, yes, of course, it shouldn't be seen as a cost. It should be seen as an investment in the people who are part of your organization and helping you to make a healthy profit. But people say, yeah, but I don't want to train them, because what if they leave? Now, what is worse than training people and they leave? It is not training them and they stay. Think about that. We need to take ownership of all of this. And having your own business is not necessarily about being your own boss, but because business is serving people and their needs. And that's also something to be said of. See, by giving man ownership for things and actions, he develops and gains incentive to manage well. That's a simple statement, but very powerful indeed. So we need to take ownership for our own lives first and foremost. We can't keep blame storming all the time and it says it's my spouse's fault, my kids, my well-meaning neighbors and friends, the dog, the government, everybody else is to blame. But the only person who can really help you is the person looking back in the mirror every single day. Because it is said, And it's a great saying that the only way you can guarantee that tomorrow will be better if you do something about yourself, about your development, and improve that today. So if you improve today, you can walk into tomorrow better prepared. And therefore tomorrow will be better. It makes total sense, of course, but how many of us do that? How many of us take care of ourselves every day? How many of us develop ourselves every day? That's why this values-based leadership process, this sustainable people development program should be part of everybody's self-development, not only because of the self-development, because values are the foundation of life and business. And take ownership of that too. See, accept responsibility for your actions. That is taking ownership for your life and what you do. Be accountable for your results and take ownership for your mistakes. None of this, that. And pointing at that is the person looking in the mirror, not at somebody else. Because we've always known when you point at somebody else, there is always 3 fingers pointing back. Remember that. And that's the person you should actually have a good talk with when you actually talk about ownership, when you talk about values. Now, I'm also going to talk about some benefits of ownership. And some of the benefits of ownership are that entrepreneurs enjoy the responsibility that comes with ownership. They are satisfied and love their work. See, when you love what you do, you never work another day in your life. Now, that is not strictly true, of course, because people say, oh, I love what I do, but I work my socks off. Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't look like that, because you don't need to drag yourself through a couple of hours of traffic on a Monday morning. You don't need to drag yourself to work every day and start with dragging yourself out of bed because you hate what you do, but you need to do it anyway. Well, you don't need to do it. You feel you need to do it, but it's your choice. But we all have potential. We all have a purpose, and we all have a passion, and we all have a destiny. But if we keep doing what we shouldn't be doing, then we don't take ownership of our own decisions, we will be doing it for the rest of our life and look back at the end of our life and look back and say, oh, I wish I had. And I can bet you that it's never, I wish I'd spent more time in the office. But if you love what you do, my dad is a great example. He changed completely at 40. He took us as a family from the Netherlands to Scotland. And he started something totally different. Not any idea really what, but he knew he needed to change because he didn't like what he did. And he had the courage and of his conviction that it needed to do something. And he said, if not now, then when? And he's now 84 this year, and he's loved what he did ever since he went to Scotland. He's got holiday chalets and things like that, but he loves what he does. And people say, but you should retire at 65. My dad has been retired ever since he started doing this, because when you love what you do, it's not work anymore. He loves what he does, and it's no point in giving up if you love what you do. It's when you hate what you do, your weekend can't come soon. And if you can't take ownership of what you got to do, then you just want that ownership to be in the weekend. You know, the week is just a gap to fill up between the different weekends, and that is wrong. That's not a way of living. We need to take ownership for all our decisions we make as well. But the benefits of taking ownership is taking full ownership of your life necessitates personal growth. See, it is sometimes challenging when not doing so seems easier in the short term. But believe me, when you do, people will come to you as they trust you. So when you start in personal development, and I say that the only way you can guarantee that you will at least step into your potential and reach your potential is personal growth. I've also got a personal growth program on here. It's more than 5 hours worth of amazing material that it really helps you. It helps me constantly. Even when I build the video content for this, it still helped me again and refreshed my memory. But personal development is an everyday thing, not a one-day thing, not a sometime thing, an everyday thing. And when you develop yourself and you take ownership of your own development, and I've also got a free self-care series on the Cubimo platform. But it is all part of your self-development, because you need to take care of you. You need to be responsible for that person looking in the mirror. Take ownership of that person first and foremost, because you cannot give what you haven't got. And then, of course, we have characteristics of a person who takes ownership seriously. See, they know that true and lasting success is built on a foundation of universal laws and principles. I just talked about it. It may not be the quickest way to wealth, but it is the way that is the most sure and long-lasting. See, there's people who've become leaders, especially in title and power, and they crumble. There's leadership around the world that is falling down just now, left, right, and center, because leadership is failing around the world, and it's mostly because of a lack of values. And you can see it everywhere. I can give you plenty of examples, but I know you know your own ones. And it's not only leaders at the top level, because we're all leaders. How are your values doing? How are you taking ownership of everything that's happening in your life? But it's all these values, they're like integrity, honesty, transparency, all these kind of values that are lacking in so many leaders today. It is absolutely frightening, disgusting, and immoral. But if we build a foundation from young people to old people, it's never too late. We can start today. And if we start building that foundation again, and for some of us, we need to dig deep and start underpinning the foundation we thought we had with more and better values, with extra steps to do. But they know this, and it's longer lasting for sure. See, they are fulfilled and energized, have a positive attitude, and produce positive results in life and business. That's what people who take ownership for their life and business. Now, there is 2 steps to follow. I'm going to give you, as you know already, there is far more of them, but we go through them in the process where we certify trainers to actually pay this forward in a much better way, that we can have seats around the table. But some steps to follow to take ownership for your life and your business. Number 1, be motivated by values and principles and resist the temptation to allow greed and selfishness rule. Now, I talked about leadership, and if you see greed, selfishness, manipulation, dictatorship, and lies, all these kind of things are totally against the grain of any human values that we should encompass, and yet these are supposed to be our leaders and we're supposed to follow them? I don't think so. But this is something you can do. Be motivated by values and principles, and be motivated by this kind of stuff, because this is solid stuff, people. This is what we need to learn more. And this is one step you can take. And the other step is be committed to not lie or steal to obtain what you want. We've seen this in South Africa the last couple of weeks as well, the looting and rioting and so many other things. But it's not only the bigger picture that everybody around the world sees. It's you in your office taking stuff home that doesn't belong to you. You and in a position of power in governments, or a CEO who actually manipulates and is greedy and takes bribery and corruption, which is happening full scale in our world at the moment, even more evident right now. But do the right things and do things the right way. In the end, you will reap a good reputation, which is worth more than money will ever be. Because what good is all that if you are going to go to jail? And you should go to jail if you're so corrupt and manipulative and greedy and all that goes with it. Then you must be held accountable again in all rules of law. It doesn't matter who you are and in what country you're in. I'm not going to say any more about it, but these are some steps for you to take ownership of your life, your business, your family, and everything else. You take ownership of so many different things, but these are 2 steps. Which one are you going to take? Maybe you found another one, but do something. Write it down. What are you going to do? When are you going to do it? Who are you going to do it with? And how are you going to do it? Write it down, follow it through, and every single step will build up your values. We set them up even straighter. And eventually you will be recognized for the go-to person, because you take ownership of not only of yourself, but of the people around you and of the values that encompass and then that are intrinsic to you, that you will never go outside. So I hope that makes some sense to you. And then I hope also to see you in the next value. Take care.